if everybody's okay, start the meeting for the Township of Hamilton for Monday, June 2nd, 2025. Could you please all rise for the flag salute?
Wow. I don't know.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law by posting a notice of this meeting on the bulletin board in the municipal building and by transmitting notice of this meeting to the press of Atlantic City, Star Ledger, and Atlantic County Record on January 8th, 2025. Mr. Cheek? Here. Dr. Nelson?
Here.
Mr. Patali?
Here.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Here.
Mayor Schenker?
Here. Could we have a moment of silence for private reflection, please? Thank you. We have guest presentations, which we have none until later on. Additions, deletions of late agenda items to be considered for action tonight. 6D would be an addition, resolution approving the execution of a shared services agreement between Atlantic County and Hamilton Township for the use of portable traffic lights for the period of 4/1/25 to 5/31/30 and authorizing the mayor to sign same. Second addition is 7A, 4, business registration for Tot Spot Fun Factory, 4403 Black Horse Pike, Hamilton Mall, Play Center and Event Space. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, ayes have it. Let's move on to number 2, early public comment on agenda items excluding items listed for public hearings. Brett, do we have anybody signed up?
No one signed up.
Thank you. Number 3, discussions, formal action may be taken. A, presentation of Atlantic County Central Municipal Court regarding bail reform. We have several members here, if you'd like to come up. We have Judge Jim Grimley, who's coming up now, and Judge Linda Goff. Prosecutor Ryan James is here. Assistant County Counsel Art Murray, and our very own County Clerk, Tony Tummins. How you doing, Tony? Good to see you, as always.
Good evening. Thanks for having us. Any information that we can provide to you or your citizens regarding the Central Court, we're always here. Anytime you need us at a meeting, we're here. So I did bring Judge Goff with me. Tony Tummins is our Chief Court Administrator. We have Chief Prosecutor Ryan Jones and County Counsel Mr. Murray. I'm Judge James Grimley. I'm the Chief Judge for the Central Court. I was asked to come tonight to talk about bail reform and what it means, how it works, because I think there's questions regarding individuals not being held in jail, warrant issues, things of that nature. So hopefully I can address those issues and answer any questions you may have. Prior to 2017, we had bail. So if you committed a certain type of offense, a judge would look at a bail schedule, depending on the offense, and would set a bail. After a lot of study, it was determined that it was unfair to folks who didn't have the finances to get out of jail, even for the minor offenses. So it was restructured. So there's no more bail, as you know it, as we knew it growing up, in our judicial system. Essentially what occurs, and the best way to do it is to walk it through a police-citizen encounter. A police officer sees or arrests someone for a crime or an offense. The first determination is whether or not to issue a summons or a warrant. And that's important. If it's issued on a summons are usually your lower end offenses, 3rd degree, 4th degree crimes, disorderly persons offenses, petty disorderly persons offenses. They would just get a notice to come to court. They would go to court. If the offense goes on a warrant, now there's certain offenses that are mandatory warrants, murder, aggravated assault, sexual assault, things of that nature that are no-brainers. Those folks would get an automatic warrant. Then there's presumed warrants. Presumed warrants are for cases of the 1st or 2nd degree that are violence or gun laws or drug offenses. The gray area are third and fourth degree offenses where a warrant can be issued or a summons depending on the situation. And the importance is this: if it's issued on a warrant, that person has to be detained. That person must go to jail. Within 48 hours, they're entitled to a hearing. We call it CJP court, first appearance court. And that judge will make a determination. Number one, should that person be released on non-recognizance, which means they're just released, or released on conditions. No bail, just conditions. Electronic monitoring, reporting to court weekly, phone calling the court on occasion, or it could be, again, electronic monitoring. And that's how those folks are handled and monitored. The other exception on the warrant is if, before the CJP hearing, a county prosecutor can make the decision, we want this person detained for whatever reason. They would then file a motion for detainment. Within 3 days, they would have to have a hearing before a superior court judge on whether that person should be detained. The analysis typically goes to the seriousness of the offense, are they a flight risk, and are they a danger to the public? And if those are met, that person most likely gets detained. As part of that process, there's something that's usually called a public safety assessment. And that assessment is I call it Colossus. You throw in some information, and it comes out with a score on whether or not that person should be detained or released on conditions. And it really goes to, are they a safety public risk, or are they a failure to appear risk? It'll also give a recommendation. It'll also indicate if that person is an issue of violence or their underlying crime was a violent crime. And then it'll give you, or the judge, guidance on whether or not to release that person, detain them, or release on conditions. So that's essentially how it works. As it relates to our court, we typically don't, well, first of all, we don't have detention hearings. We only deal with disorderly persons offenses, petty disorderly persons offenses. So we really don't get into the analysis that I just reviewed with you regarding detention hearings. And most, if not all, of the cases are on summonses. As it relates to issues that you folks deal with, for example, shoplifting, I can tell you that the prosecutor, if let's say the amount in controversy is $500, that could go on a warrant. I can tell you, based on my communications with the county prosecutor, they are not going to indict or ask for detention for shoplifters. They'll just go right to the CJP hearing, and that judge will make a determination whether or not to release on recognizance or release on conditions. I can tell you that there's been a high influx of cases being remanded back to our court, shoplifting cases, regardless of the amount. So the county prosecutors made the determination that in terms of what they want to prosecute, not prosecute, shoplifting isn't high on their radar. So our court's getting a high influx of warrants for shoplifting cases. So we handle a vast majority of those in our court. I know when I met with some of the folks here here, that we reviewed that we have alternative we have at-risk initiative. In other words, if folks need help, we have services at the courthouse to provide those folks help, whether it's financial assistance, substance use and abuse issues, mental health. We get those folks geared in that direction so they get the help they need. So they're not back on your streets committing further offenses. So if we get people in our court and we feel that that person could use that assistance, that's where we gear them. And we send them in that direction to get them the help they need, to get them off our streets and get them law-abiding and get them, again, the help that they need. Does anyone have any questions, issues? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Judge. I just have a couple questions. One, I remember before the bail reform, but it has, I want you to talk about how has it impacted the marginalized community?
I'm sorry, ma'am,
how has it impacted the marginalized community? Bail reform.
I think one of the main reasons that they got rid of bail was because of that. And I agree with it wholeheartedly. You would have a person who commits a serious offense, has a high bail, has money, gets out of jail. You have somebody who commits a low-end offense, has a low bail, has no money, they sit in jail and they're detained. And by the way, there's a difference between jail when you get sentenced, your case is adjudicated and you get sent to jail, versus pretrial detention, which means you sit in jail until you get before a judge and your case is tried. There's people who are sitting in jail for a year before they get before a judge. And to your point, ma'am, you're right. Marginalized folks are in my opinion, the most victimized in the old scheme of things, because they're the ones who are sitting in jail for 6 months to a year, even longer, just to get to a judge, just so they can go forward with their claim of innocence. So I think it was a game changer, and I back it 100%.
I just feel that some people that I've experienced has had prior offenses, right? So they may have been good for years, but based on prior convictions, they sometimes are detained longer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And ma'am, it's case by case. So when we talk about the detention hearing, I call it Colossus. It kicks out a score. The score ranges between a 1 and a 6. And there's 2 scores, failure to appear history and criminal, whether or not they're going to commit another offense, probability. And that's a 1 to 6 score. So it'll kick out 2 scores. It could be a 4 and a 5, a 6 and a 6, or a 1 and a 1. It'll then give a recommendation. And then it's not over there. The judge, the Superior Court judge, then has to use that as a tool, the public safety assessment score.
Right.
And then they will hear from the attorneys. They'll hear from the prosecutor, and the prosecutor's going to argue this person's a flight risk, this person won't come to court, this person's got a horrible history, he'll commit another offense while on the street, or they'll obstruct justice. The defense attorney, on the other hand, will argue the opposite, that they're not a flight risk. These charges or these prior convictions are 10 years old, or something to that effect. So the judge ultimately makes that call, and it is really case-by-case basis. It's not blanket.
It's not blanket.
I can tell you that.
But maybe I just happen to know. I see the judge has something you want to say.
I want to say the good thing about now.
Please speak into the mic so we can.
I'm sorry, at the CJP hearings now, the defendants are immediately represented by the public defender's office. So the public defender is there representing them in most cases, almost all of them. Maybe here and there they haven't filled out their application yet when they were taken into custody. So there are represented, and what's good now is they have immediate representation. So when the prosecutor's making their pitch, the public defender's making their pitch, and then the judge really has a better view now of what to do, whether to release them with conditions. And the only time they're really being detained is if the prosecutors filed a detainer motion. Most times people are getting released, where before we had people sitting for minor drug charges a year in jail because they couldn't get bail. So it's definitely better for everyone, and particularly the marginalized.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Maybe just a few people that I've known it's like you say, it's a case by case basis. And sometimes people that if they're in there any length of time, they're not able to obtain their own attorney.
Correct.
Right? They have to accept as you said, their appointed attorney. So, and they can't get out to work to get an attorney.
So, man, I did criminal defense work for a long time. And to your point, you're exactly right. It's not only that, the person can't get out of jail to assist the defense attorney in their defense. Getting witness addresses, getting information on people who could provide information. And unfortunately, the way it used to work, the longer these folks sat in jail, the more likely they would take a plea deal just to get out, even though they were innocent.
True.
So I saw it a lot, ma'am, and it's I'm just glad there was change.
And this is my last question.
Sure.
The New Jersey Constitution was amended.
Yes.
For this, do you think it should be law should be eradicated for it to go back?
Absolutely not. I like the system the way it's going now. I think it's fair. It's even-handed. And by the way, if a Superior Court judge says, you know what, I'm going to order you detained, that person has a right to an immediate appeal. So it's not like that they have to wait 6 months or 18 months. They have an appellate division make a ruling. It's immediate and it's quick. So I feel it's a lot fairer now, and these folks are getting a better shot of not having to be detained pre-trial.
Thank you.
Your Honor, thanks for coming today, and thank you, Honors, as well. So I'm probably coming from a different angle on this because my family's very involved with the police departments, and I would say, and I don't want to speak on the behalf of the police departments, but I would say that they say this is a failure. And it's because that we have a revolving door where we have now, you go to YouTube, and you watch people walk out of Walmart as if it's okay to just steal because the police department is not allowed to do anything, or if they are, then they're just going to be released on the street and they're going to pivot, and they're getting false information to police officers. There is no leverage anymore to get them to in front of you, right? Ultimately, the idea is to get them in front of you, and I hear you saying it's equitable. What I would say is, knowing from the other side that it's not working, what are your thoughts as to keep it as equitable as you have it, but yet somehow get the leverage over the individual to actually, one, give you true information, and two, show up?
Yeah, look, no system's perfect.
Yeah.
Right, we know that. But to the doctor's point, I'd rather not have a person sit in jail when they shouldn't be sitting in jail. To your point, yeah, there's going to be recidivists out there who will continue to offend, who will continue to get in trouble. That's why I think with our court, we offer those social services to hopefully fix that problem. Because there's a problem, right? If they're committing shoplifting over and over, if they're a public nuisance, public safety problem, there's usually a mental health component tied into substance abuse component. And if we can tackle that in our court, I know Prosecutor Reynolds does it in the Superior Court, that's trying to attack a problem or deal with an issue, not just find someone, send them out on the street, and hope keep our fingers crossed that they don't reoffend. And
Yeah.
I do get your point. It
almost seems like bail reform is a Band-Aid, right? And we're not getting to the root of the problem. And if it's the idea that they're going to sit in jail for 6 months waiting to see you, maybe we have to speed up that process, and that means make more judges, or maybe put, I don't know. But I'm just saying is that it just sounds like we still have a problem, and we've traded one thing for another. And as people that go out to Walmart and Target, we're paying for it. You're paying for it due to higher costs, right? So.
Absolutely.
And you being real close to it, I mean, I would be ignorant to say that I know how to fix it. I'm just saying that it still seems like there is a problem.
And I feel your sense, this frustration, because I was the prosecutor at the Central Court for 3.5 years. Mr. Jones is the current prosecutor. Look, we saw it every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
The officers would come in, I hear it. I sense I heard their frustration, sense their frustration, and I get it. They feel like, it's catch and release, right? That's kind of the phrase. And I do appreciate that situation, but I got to balance.
Right.
And it's not a perfect system. It's the system we got. We just got to try the best to make it work. That's all I can. Scott, do you have anything?
When you indicated, when you referenced to shoplifting, which is one of the biggest things that we see right now, are you indicating when you said the officers can't do anything about it? Is it meaning that they're getting called after the fact to the stores and then complaints, or the stores resource people are coming in and they're filling out their complaints? That's what's happening, correct?
Yeah, so I think for the question, like what usually is that that it's certainly this is driven by policy as well from the commercial perspective, is they can't go after the people because they're afraid of litigation, get in trouble for pursuing. But I think it is once the police officers are actually able to get involved, and they necessarily can't compel to get the correct information from them, right? Because you can't throw them in jail for not giving you the information. You're not going to put them, you're not going to lodge them for that. So they know, I mean, they're smart. They know they can give you fake information. I know I'm not going to show up, and they're back at it the next day, maybe in a different Walmart. But, it's not that the police officers, can't do anything, but from their perspective, I think they're pretty frustrated where they know they're lying to them. There's nothing they can't escalate the situation to do anything more other than what they're allowed to do by bail reform. And I think that kind of is a demoralizer. And, probably contributes to the idea that why we're having problems finding police officers.
Yeah, and I can understand that, particularly with the shoplifting, because he was the prosecutor, I was the public defender over in Central for 3 years. The court was there, and then I did defense work for all my career. With the shoplifting is right now, there's such a problem with the stores. They don't pursue them because there's a safety issue.
Yep.
Potential weapons, employees getting injured.
Mm-hmm.
So they have these internal policies saying, listen, let them take what they want, let them do what they want.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. They flee out the door, and then they might get the license plate or, with the cameras. And it's a problem.
Yeah. I'm not saying that this is the only reason, but I agree with you that it's both sides.
That's the problem right now is the stores. I mean, you can go in any Wawa on any day and stand there and watch people walk out the doors. They're just walk out the doors. It's terrible right now.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, the police are tied to where they can only do what they can do. And when the people give the wrong information, they do it on a traffic stop.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just unfortunate right now,
Yeah.
but hopefully they'll get connected with the services, because most of those repetitive shoplifters are there because they do have issues. You know, but we're over in the courts dealing with the adjudication of them. And, you know, they're pretty stringent. Shoplifting is a pretty serious thing. First, second, third, mandatory jail. And, you know, from the prosecution standpoint, while the county prosecutor takes whatever position, we take a serious position of it over in the municipal court, so we deal with it once we get them in there. But listen, we get people that come in how many years later? They come in 5, 6, 8, 10 years, and they got these tickets, and they're in there complaining, and, well, why am I here? And I'm like, well, because you should have taken care of your business back then, and you won't be here. Or your bail is now here. And they did have bail, and then we're holding it, not giving it to them until they come back. That's what we do. So when they show up, because they haven't showed up and they picked up on a warrant, and they come before us, if they don't resolve their matter that day, they want their bail money back. But we hold the bail money until their matter gets resolved. We give them the impetus to either resolve their matter that day or come back quickly and resolve your matter.
Yeah, and so I appreciate you guys are, dealing with the same kind of issues, and that's what I mean. Like, the money is the leverage, right? And unfortunately, some people don't have money. But that's always been like, I'm just kind of saying there might be something in between. Like, I hate to say it, but maybe you put electronic devices on the people that don't have the money, but but then then we really do deal with the tag and release, which is not a good idea. But so I appreciate it, and thank you very much.
No problem.
I wasn't specifically talking about criminals. That had to be. I was specifically talking about people like on child support that was falsely arrested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it takes a long time, especially if the person lied, the other party lied because they're mad at them and said they violated. And then they go, because they live out of the county, it takes a long time before they find out what the other person said wasn't true. And they don't lock that other person who lied up, because they just have to verify it wasn't true with the person who got locked up. So it's not perfect. It's not perfect. But I've seen people sit in jail for a long period of time because it was a different county. They got arrested in Atlantic County, but something happened. The person made the complaint in Gloucester County. So it takes a while for that to be found out. They eventually were let out, but they could have lost their job and all of that. So that's the reason why I was bringing that up.
Okay.
All right.
So what happens when you release somebody and they don't show up to court?
All right, so we have directives from the administrative office of the court how that happens. So depending on the level of offense, and we're strictly talking about our level, not Superior Court. So I can tell you if it's a DWI, if it's a simple assault, even harassment, depending on how serious it was, if they fail to appear on their first appearance, warrant gets issued automatically. The cap for municipal court warrants is $2,500. If it's any other type of offense, for the most part, you get 2 shots. So if you miss the second time, depending on what type of offense it is, we can issue a warrant in those circumstances. If it's a low-end offense, it would just be closed out. If it's a traffic case, if it's a quasi-criminal case or a code violation case, it's just going to get an FTA and it's going to keep getting relisted. And I'm glad you brought that point up, because I wanted to address that with everyone. Look, I get it. One of the most important things you guys deal with is your ordinance violations, because they're the people that are calling you saying the neighbor's house is falling apart, the lawn is not being mowed, the dog's running wild. They're the calls you folks are getting in real time, and that's important to you. And we get it. And my policy is, depending on the ordinance violation, will dictate whether or not I issue a warrant on the second FTA. For example, dogs running wild, that gets a warrant. If there's a house in disrepair, I call that an attractive nuisance. Young kids could go in there, get hurt. The building could collapse. There could be a fire, and your department's out there, and it's not up to code. Firemen could get injured. So if I have situations like that, I issue warrants. High grass, not having your trash receptacles out too early, I'm not going to issue warrants on those. But anything where it's a public nuisance, public safety risk, we will absolutely issue warrants, and we'll get those people into court.
I know we've had a couple of issues here where it's not that they haven't showed up. Well, they just keep delaying it for some reason, right? They always come up with excuses why they can't show up, and the court seems to be okay with it, to the tune of 5, 6, 7 times, and then we're still getting those phone calls, and it's a game, right? Everybody knows it's a game.
It's delay. You get it. Usually what happens is the folks who know how to quote-unquote game the system,
Mhm.
I'm getting an attorney. They show up the next listing, I'm still looking for an attorney. All right, you have to get an attorney or apply for a public defender. Then they show up, oh, I got an attorney. Attorney gets involved. I need discovery. I need more discovery. Oh, by the way, I want to give you discovery, which is a delay until they're finally in a position to try to work the case out. So, yeah, there are those outliers that just drag it on forever. One thing we're going to start doing, I've done it already, is trying cases in absentia, which means if a corporate defendant has an ordinance violation and they fail to appear, assuming proper notices were sent, we're going to try them without them there. And that's how we're going to get stuff off the books, and that's how we're going to wake them up. Because here's what happens, right? I've tried a couple of them. I hit them with a high fine. All right, now all of a sudden they wake up. So they're like, wait, I was, I overslept. And then they come to court and the case gets resolved. I'll vacate the heavy fine that I did initially. They come to court. They talk to the prosecutor. They work something out. And whether it's they fix the issue and we take some money off the fine, but that's how you wake them up. That's how you have to get them to court.
When we say corporate, are you referring, like, what a landlord qualifies as corporate?
Well, it depends. When I say corporate, a corporation, LLC,
Yeah.
Any type of business.
Okay.
How many times in a year if someone was picked up for shoplifting, would you deny them to go, basically just give them a summons? How many times would it take for you to put them in jail and wait for the bail?
Well, so I guess you're talking about your officer arrests someone at Walmart and a decision has to be made whether or not it's going to be a summons or a warrant?
Yes.
All right. So first off, it's got to be over a certain amount of money before it to go on a warrant.
Not certain amount of times?
No. But that'll go in the analysis on whether or not he gets detained or not. The first step in the analysis is summons or warrant. All right. So if it's less than $200, that's a summons because it's a disorderly person's offense.
Multiple times?
Because we're only dealing with the one window. All right. We're just dealing with the one case. So in that case, the officer must issue a summons. He's got no choice. All right. Now, if the amount is over $200, it could be a third or fourth degree offense. Now, the officer could say, you know what, I'm going to issue that. I'm going to contact the judge to see if that could go on a warrant or not. They'll contact the judge, and the judge will ask, all right, first things first, have you run what is known as a public safety assessment? And that's done by their fingerprints. They put it on a scanner, it runs it, boom. And it's the public safety assessment we discussed earlier where it gives you a score, failure to appear score and risk of reoffending score. And it'll also give you a recommendation whether or not that person should be detained or released on conditions. So that really is for the judges anyway, at that juncture, tells us where we're going. So if the public safety assessment comes back on a shoplifting case, I can tell you the recommendation is going to be release on conditions, 99% of the time. Rarely is it the recommendation that person should be detained. And even if they are detained, they'll be before a CJP judge within 48 hours, and more likely than not, that judge will release them. So in the long run, shoplifting cases, for the most part, they're not going to be detained. And that's just, look, it's the policy, right? In the state of New Jersey, somebody somewhere said shoplifting is not high priority for us. We're not going to have these people sit in jail. And we just follow what the legislature tells us to do. And that's
I just wish they understood that I understand there's levels based on how much money something's worth.
Yeah.
But somebody shoplifting at a Walmart is way different than somebody shoplifting in a local store in the middle of town, where that person is, and any little bit's going to hurt. And it might be, that person might be the only person in the store, or they might have one other employee, and now they're scared.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on here? So I just hope that you as judges take that into consideration. Think about that, and think about how that is. I'll give you another example. This is going back several years. My house was broken into. All right, there was a guy who was literally let out of jail that day, walked into town, smashed my back window out. There were some kids playing out back, and they heard it. They saw him start to climb in my window. They yelled, and then they chased him, and they all got awards for what they did. They chased him. The police came. They knew exactly where he was. They got him. If they didn't do that, me and my 2 young daughters were on our way home. We'd have walked in, and that man would have been in the house. So my 2 young daughters, when they saw all this commotion, police everywhere, everything going on, they were scared to death. They were, and I just want you guys
And
to.
that would be a different analysis. That would be a crime.
Absolutely, yes, that's different. But I'm just trying to let you guys, and I'm sure you know, but I just, I have the chance to say this to you, and I want to use this chance to say this to you. Please be mindful of the people, the victims. And I understand the bail reform. I hear that. I understand that. But there's also somebody else who's now scared and worried, and they may have lost money and stuff like that.
That comment is not lost on us.
This is it's very. This whole thing is very complex.
We're here
It's
for
not
you
an
and your-
easy thing.
We're here for you and your constituents. We get it. We get, again, we talked about your ordinance violations. We take those very seriously, because I know you take them seriously, and so do your citizens, all right? We take offenses that occur in stores within your confines of this township. We take those very seriously, because it's quality of life. And, I can speak for all the judges. We take these cases very seriously, and it's just not, we just don't rubber stamp them, so.
And they get an opportunity to speak to the prosecutor. So when they bring those charges of your small business owner and they come to court that day because it happened and they finally get the person before, then they get the opportunity to meet with the prosecutor, put their position forth, giving very good consideration.
And I think that's another problem too, is getting the victims to show up too and
that's
say,
We
hey,
have big notice. I mean, we give notices and they have to come. If they don't come, cases are getting
Yeah.
dismissed. You have a percentage of cases that have to get dismissed because we can't bring them back when the defense attorneys are making motions to dismiss because the victims and the people who make the complaints are not showing up. They need to show up, come to court, that's a big thing. And then we can help them help themselves.
thank you so much
Anything
for
else,
coming
guys?
and
Anybody
explaining
else?
this.
Thank
Right.
you.
If you guys ever need anything else, more information, if your citizens want a meeting with us anytime toward the courthouse, let us know. Let us know. We're here to serve.
Mayor, may I make a brief comment?
Sure.
First, Chief Judge Grimley gave me a promotion, Assistant County Counsel, Arthur Murray, not County Counsel. Ms. Hughes would be upset if I took the title. As it relates to the county, just so everyone's aware, the county prosecutor is a constitutional officer. He gets to make all decisions as it relates to prosecutions of criminal cases in Atlantic County. Neither the county executive nor the elected commissioners can tell the county prosecutor what to do as it relates to any case. The same goes with the Superior Court judges and the judges at the Central Municipal Court. Neither the county executive nor the elected county commissioners can tell those judges what to do in any case, and likewise, we cannot tell the municipal prosecutors what to do in any case. They have absolute discretion. What the county does do, though, is staff the court at the Central Municipal Court. And the reason I'm here is because if you have a specific case or a specific question on a specific case and you want to know what happened and you need an answer on that case, all you have to do is ask Mr. Warren to contact me. He has contact information 24/7, and the people at the court, both the Superior Court level and the Municipal Court level, are more likely to get back to me in a timely fashion for me to get back to Mr. Warren and get the information to you. Mr. Warren also knows that he can share my contact information with any of you should you need it, and you can get me 24/7. I can at least get you an answer as to why that person was not detained, or was that person released on a warrant, or why has that case been adjourned 6 times. So you at least have the information to share with your constituents, so you at least know why it was done. And that's why I'm here on behalf of the county, to make sure that you know that that's our job, is to get that information to you so you can get the information to your constituents and go from there. We just can't control the court and say, detain that person, don't detain that person, etc. They have absolute discretion, or they have their policies they have to follow that are not promulgated by the county executive and not promulgated by the elected commissioners of Atlantic County. Those are promulgated by the Attorney General's Office of New Jersey and the state of New Jersey.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Hold on.
you.
Yes,
Mr.
Mayor,
Solicitor?
just to piggyback off of that, I think Mr. Murray, but I do want to give a personal thank you to everyone who came out, but to convey to Township Committee that when these issues were raised and they came to me, I reached out to Chief Judge Grimley, and not only was he responsive, but his response was, let me know when your next committee meeting is going to be. I will appear there with my team in person to answer any questions they have. So I want you to know that's how the process was. There was no hesitation from him or his team.
Appreciate that.
And both Chief Prosecutor Jones as well as Mr. Murray indicated that not only did they want to be here, but if there were any specific concerns, as you know, we sometimes have residents that appear at Township Committee meetings, that they would act as liaisons to the Central Municipal Court. So if there are any issues, as Mr. Murray indicated, please do reach out to me and then I can convey that to them as well.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I just want to say thank you very much personally, and this is, you know, we do have special circumstances here because the court is in our town. It's the, you know, it's part of being the county seat. Everything's here, good or bad. And we deal with that. And, you know, unfortunately, sometimes there's things that happen that, I want to thank you for being here because you're giving the public some reassurance that not only are you on top of what's going on, but you're here to answer their questions. And though there's not a lot of folks here tonight, there's a camera behind you that goes out to a lot of people, and you'd be surprised how many people watch these meetings on video. And really, it's a very good learning tool for them, where to go. If they have questions or something, they can come to us, and we now have a mechanism to come to you, and it's more open communication. I think that alone is a big, big help. So thank you all very much for coming out and taking time out of your night to be here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We have number 4, public hearing, adoption of ordinances. We are looking at ordinance 2105, 2025, an ordinance superseding ordinance 2098-2025, amended Chapter 144 of the Township Code to provide and amend fees for certain construction permit applications in the Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic. This is a public hearing. Anybody in the public like to speak?
Move to close public?
Second.
We have motion second to close public portion. Any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Chair will entertain an adoption of this ordinance.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Are there any questions or comments? Jane, can we get a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Dr. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Thank you. And Jane, I apologize now because sometime during the night I will call you Rita. Okay? Sorry about it. I'll do my best, but
Okay.
I can't promise you anything. Number 5, introduction of ordinances. Public hearing to be held June 16th, 2025. A, ordinance 2106-2025, an ordinance authorizing the sale of Lot 10 in Block 656 as shown on the tax map of the Township of Hamilton and granting the owner or owners of said real property contiguous to the same right of prior refusal to purchase such land in the Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, and this is located on Pittsburgh Avenue.
I'll move the ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions or concerns? And all those in favor, you want a roll call?
for this, Mayor.
Okay. Jane?
Mr. Cheek?
Thank you.
Dr. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
B, ordinance 2107-2025, an ordinance amending Article 2, Attachment A of Chapter 66, and ordinance 1947-2021 to transfer oversight authority of Youth Services and Protection Coordinator to the Township Administrator.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Are there any questions?
Was this previously under the Chief of Police?
Yes.
Yes.
Any questions, comments?
Well, I do have a comment. We talked about this some time ago, that everything it appears to me, is going to the township administrator, and he does not have a contract. And I just don't think that it is right to continue to give him, so he hasn't complained to me. I'm just looking at the different services that are being transferred to the township administrator. And I think when we have people that work as hard as Township Administrator Brett Noel, that we need to make sure that we take care of people who's taking care of us. So at some point, it is June. Everybody has a contract but him. And I don't think that that's right. When are we going to get a contract?
When all of this paperwork is done.
What do you mean?
All of the things that we must transfer. As you noticed, we just transferred the fire. We're now transferring the rec.
Right?
When that's done, then we will put it all together. We can always retroactive.
Okay, I just wanted it for the record. I appreciate what you.
I understand.
The comment, but I just wanted to make sure I was saying something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
We
you.
didn't forget. Any other questions, comments? Jane, can we roll call, please?
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Dr. Nelson?
Abstain.
Mr. Batali?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes.
4 yes, 1 abstention. Motion
Thank you.
carried.
6, award of bids, contracts, and change orders. A is a resolution approving interlocal services agreement between Township of Hamilton and Hamilton Township Board of Education for solid waste removal for the period of 1/1/25 through 9/30/25, and authorizing the mayor to sign the same.
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any questions or comments?
Mr. Solicitor, do I need to abstain from this one because I did approve the school board budget?
In your discretion, yeah.
Okay.
Jane, can we do roll call for this too, please?
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Dr. Nelson?
Abstain.
Mr. Batali?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes.
4 yes, 1 abstention.
Thank you.
Motion carries.
B, resolution authorizing continuation of interlocal services agreement 6/30/25 to 6/29/28 with Atlantic County Improvement Authority, also known as the ACIA, for housing rehabilitation programs, small cities, and authorizing mayor to sign same.
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any questions or concerns? Hearing none. Jane, roll call, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Dr. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Batali?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
C, resolution awarding a contract to All Vinyl Fencing, Hamilton, New Jersey, for fencing of Leapy Field Hockey Court. Amount not to exceed $34,700.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none. Jane, roll call, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Dr. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Batali?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. 6D, resolution approving execution of shared services agreement between Atlantic County and Hamilton Township for use of portable traffic lights for the period of 4/1/25 to 5/31/30, and authorizing the mayor to sign same.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Are any questions or comments? Jane, roll call vote.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Dr. Nelson?
Yes.
Mr. Batali?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. 7, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We have items A through J.
I'll motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for all the items between A and J. Any questions or comments?
I just have one question. On B, because I am for the writer for the Hometowns Heroes banners, I just wanted to know, is it possible that any of the veterans can pay for some of the banners?
What's this? I don't.
B.
Yes, I don't understand. What was your question?
B, resolution permission Director of Division of Local Government Services for a dedication by Ryder for Hometown
This
Hero
just
banners.
establishes the count.
I was just asking a question on the banners. I know I'm for the banners, but I'm saying, are there any other groups? I know that may not be related to the question that can help with the banners.
All the banners are paid by the individuals. But this is just establishing the account for us to put the money in.
All right, I understood that. The mayor said that the other day. I was just asking because I was talking to a couple of the veterans, and I was told that they had money to help pay for banners. So I was just wondering, or should we just be paying for it? I just wanted to know, was there any
No,
other
I
groups?
believe it's going to be paid for by the individual's family, or there are multiple people have come to me to look to give donations.
Okay,
So either way is fine.
either way.
Yeah.
Okay, I
We're-
just wanted to know.
And listen, we're just getting started with this. Anybody who wants one, please come forward. Financial is not an issue here. We would want to have everybody that wants one to get one. There has been multiple people who want to help out with this and make sure that everyone who wants to be honored will be honored. So, but thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate that. Okay, any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. We're going to move to 8, personnel. A, resolution to appoint Michael Verga as Chief of Police effective 7/1/25 and authorize the Township Administrator to negotiate an employment agreement.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions, comments? Hearing none. Jane, roll call, please.
Mr. Cheek,
Yes.
Dr. Nelson,
Abstain.
Mr. Patali,
Congratulations and yes.
Dr. Witherspoon,
Yes, and congratulations.
Mayor Schenker.
Yes.
4 yes,
Ditto.
1 abstention.
Okay. B, resolution to appoint Christian Morales as a part-time record staff clerk for the police department at an hourly rate of $20.45, effective 6/3/25.
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. Jane, can we do a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Cheek,
Yes.
Dr. Nelson,
Abstain.
Mr. Patali,
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon.
Yes.
Mayor Schenker.
Yes.
4 yes, 1 abstention.
Number 9, approvals. First, we have the minutes, the regular meeting minutes of May 19th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. B, minutes, special executive session meeting minutes of May 27th, 2025.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, Jane, roll call, please.
Mr. Cheek,
Yes.
Dr. Nelson,
Abstain.
Mr. Patali,
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon.
Yes.
Mayor Schenker.
Yes.
4 yes, 1 abstention.
C, bills. Bill list total, $1,139,302.78.
So moved.
We have a motion,
Second.
we have a second. Questions, comments? Hearing none. Jane?
Mr. Cheek,
Yes.
Dr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Patali,
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon.
Yes.
Mayor Schenker.
Yes.
All yes.
Move on to reports. Mr. Administrator.
I just wanted to congratulate Mike Verga on his appointment. He's going to do a great job. Congratulations.
Very good. Mr. Solicitor?
I echo what the administrator just said. Congratulations. Thank you. Nothing else.
Mr. Engineer?
Nothing unless you have any questions.
Nice to see you.
Likewise.
Township Committee, Dr. Witherspoon.
Yes, I would just like to say I attended the Memorial Day service in Memorial Day Park. It was a very, very nice service on that day, and I just think it's wonderful that we continue to honor those heroes that paid the ultimate sacrifice for all of us here in America. And I also want to announce on June 19th, which is Juneteenth, there will be a celebration in Gaskill Park. A Wish Foundation organization, nonprofit organization, will be be having that event on June the 19th. And I believe it starts at 3 or 4 o'clock. I'm not even looking at my phone. But it's on that day, and it's in Gaskill Park. And I want to thank everybody who has supported this effort, because it's very, very important to our community. Thank you so much. That's it.
Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, Memorial Day services, want to thank everybody that did everything to make that happen. Public Works, Veterans Advisory Board, Fire Department, Police Department, everybody. It was really nice. Park looks great. As always, Chris, great job. This Friday, downtown Mays Landing, first Friday. It's from 5 to 8:30. It's come down, support our local small businesses. There'll be live music. There'll be vendors. Some food will be, I guess food trucks will be there. We're going to have any food trucks? You don't know? Meals will be open. The pub's always open. So Domino's, go get yourself some Domino's pizza. No, but seriously, come down. There'll be music. Take a walk down Main Street. I'll be at the pub. So, but I'll make my way out there at some point. Congratulations, Chief. Glad to have you aboard. And I also want to say congratulations to Anthony, who has retired. So thanks to him. He was a big part of our department. All of our police officers are very important. But Anthony is captain. He was great to work with. So sorry to see him go, but glad that he's retired and moving on. So good for him. And that's really it for me. Reagan, I'll see you later. She gets married on Sunday. So been kind of busy with that lately, getting all that squared away. And Maddie, we miss you and we love you and we really hope to see you soon.
Excuse me, Mayor, can I say one more thing?
Sure.
I just forgot to say that on yesterday, it was our CFO's birthday, Nick Amato.
Hey, happy birthday, Nick.
Happy belated birthday. I wrote it down, I just forgot to say it.
Should we sing or no?
Yeah, listen.
No.
No.
Oh, about singing, I got to hand it to Dr. Witherspoon here. She sang both songs at the Memorial Day services, and she's does a fantastic job.
Thank you.
So got to give her props.
Thank you, Deputy.
Committeeman Cheek?
I was at the Memorial Day services also, and Carl, you stole my thunder. I was ready to say how Dr. Witherspoon did a great job singing.
You can say it again.
I just said it.
Yeah, that's all right.
Thank you.
But the whole facility, the whole place was very nice, and it was a nice day at the park, and the weather was perfect. Also, a couple of weeks ago, the Public Works had a POSH and OSHA inspection that they weren't expecting. All their paperwork was perfect, their MSDA sheets, everything was great. Being a contractor for so long, when you have OSHA in front of you, you get nervous. You never pass without any problem whatsoever. And Public Works passed with all their record keeping and everything without one citation. That's perfect. That is unheard of. Great job.
Yeah, good job.
Also, the recreation field, watching grandchildren, all the fields are looking very, very, very good. It's nice to see. And then also, I congratulate our new chief, Mr. Verga. Thank you. And that's it.
Dr. Nelson?
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to say I was also at the Veterans event. I wanted to say, be a third person to say, Dr. Witherspoon, I was very impressed.
Thank you, Doctor.
You sound great.
Thank you, Dr.
And I can see why they look at you to do for us. So at all the events, you do very good. And then whoever played taps, it was very quiet, but it was very good. It was hard to hear, but they had very good sound. So I don't know who that was, but that was great too. And then I just want to reiterate about the banners. I think it's really neat. I've got a lot of people that are very interested. I do sit on the Veterans Board, and we're excited about this. And again, as the mayor said, if anybody, regardless of how much it is, if you know anybody that wants it and deserves it, please just bring their name forward. We'll find somebody to help sponsor it. It's more about celebrating our people and the veterans and the time they put in, other than whether than not they can afford to pay for it. The school is getting ready to wrap up their years this year, and it's looking to be another successful year. You knock on wood that we don't have anything coming up at the last minute. I also wanted to say thank you to Brett. I've called him a couple times on people complaining about things, as that's our job to receive the complaints, and he's already on top of it. By the time I call him, he's pretty much cut me off and saying I've already fixed it. So thank you for being on top of it, and one of these moments I'm going to find one that's going to catch you by surprise, but I'll work on that. So thank you for that. And then I wanted to say, and properly say, congratulations to Dr. Michael Verga for being our new chief. So he has his doctorate. It's pretty impressive.
I read his resume.
Oh, did you? I wasn't part of that, so
I'm going to
sorry.
call him chief, though.
Yeah, I'm calling him chief. I'm not calling him doctor.
Chief doctor.
Chief
If that's
Doctor,
okay.
Chief doctor.
Dr. Chief.
So, congratulations. I'm looking forward to all the great things you're going to do. I know you will do it. And I think it'll be, I know it's hard right now with the unfortunate truth of how many people we have out for various reasons, but I know you'll be able to rise to the occasion. So, congratulations and good luck. And that's all I have.
All right, so, everybody mentioned Memorial Day. I can't say enough about the Veterans Advisory Board, the Public Works, the Fire Department. They're always there. They do a great job. They're right there to help out when things kind of change a little bit. It was especially good for me to be able to stand up there and once again announce the banners that we have been waiting a long time to get this moving. It's pretty exciting. It's going to look great when we get them up there. As soon as we get, I think we need 39 to place the order. So once we get the 39, we're going to place the order and get them up as soon as possible. And I can just picture it now of all those banners up and down Main Street. Like I stated then, and I'll state again, we are trying to utilize the poles on Route 50. That's a bigger lift right now. So Brett has informed me that he's already started that process. And we'll see how quickly we can make that happen, because I'm pretty sure we're going to see more than 39 people wanting to do this. I'd like to say a few words about Captain Anthony Alcott. He has been a great part of our police department for a lot of years, and especially at the time when we needed him most, when COVID was around, he stepped up and really took over some key roles. That was an extremely, as you can imagine, extremely difficult time, and certain people stepped up and did the little extras, and Anthony was definitely one of those people. I liked working with Anthony on budgets and stuff like that. He was very good with the numbers and understanding on what it took for us to do what we need to do and help them get what they need. So when you have that kind of understanding, it's much, much easier to do that kind of work. And last but certainly not least, congratulations, Chief. I will not call you Doctor. I will not call you Dr. Chief. You will be Chief Michael Verga. Welcome. I look forward to working with you. I think you're going to do a great job. Your resume was, impressive, and listen, I've known of you long before you stepped into this position, so I'm sure you're going to do fine. And I'd wish you luck, but I don't think luck has anything to do with this. It's all about the work. So that's all I have. Anybody in the public like to speak?
Teresa DeRose from Maids Laureldale. First, I wanted to ask Carl Patali, can you repeat the date of which that event is happening, where there's going to be the food trucks and parties?
I'm not sure about food trucks.
Whatever you're doing?
But it's this Friday night.
This Friday
This
night?
Friday night, yeah, June 6th. Shops on Main Street.
Okay, thanks. And then as far as the flags for the veterans, who exactly do we go to make sure that people that we want their flags to be up there?
You can go through the website. It's on our website.
Mhm.
If there's special circumstances, you can contact Brett's office and we'll make sure it gets taken care of.
Okay.
And that goes for everyone. If you want to speak about this and don't want to do it through the internet or the website, Brett's office is more than willing to
Yeah.
Listen, we all want this to be successful. We want everybody to be included, so we'll do whatever we have to do.
Because if you're looking for 39, I know of a couple I want to add.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Anyone else in the public like to speak?
Motion to close?
Second.
We have motions and a second to close. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. We will now adjourn to executive session to have discussion on the ACUA solid waste and recycling contract negotiations. I do not believe we will be coming out with anything.
No, Mayor, we don't anticipate formal action.
No formal action, so I need a motion to adjourn to executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?